7 fights on this card, 7 finishes. Co-main event, Ciryl Gane stops Alex Pereira. And again, Alex Pereira, I think the move up to heavyweight did not serve him well. Gane looked great, as he did against Aspinall. Did think he landed some hammer fist to the back of the head in the closing sequence. But he wins the fight, he stops him, and now he's interim champion once again, and hopefully we now get that Tom Aspinall rematch and we get to get a definitive winner there. I don't know if Alex is going to stay at heavyweight. I don't think he should stay at heavyweight for his own health. Those people are big, and they're not maybe all as good as Ciryl Gane, but I think that it's just too.
And then last thing I want to ask you about the co-main event, Ciryl, obviously amazing performance. He comes out and says, man, give me that rematch with Tom Aspinall. We need to get that done. Obviously, we're not going to make fights tonight, but is there anything standing in the way of you making that fight right now? Do you feel comfortable that's a fight you can make happen?
I don't know. I'm not even thinking about that right now. Yeah, Ciryl Gane, you know, listen, it's hard to move up 3 weight classes in MMA, and especially in the UFC. And Ciryl looked great tonight. You know, the guy, we always say, he's a heavyweight that moves like a middleweight, and he definitely looked like one tonight. You know, we'll get back. I'm gonna let my people have some time off, you know, this week, and then, you know, we'll get back at it and we'll figure out what's next.
But that doesn't mean he's gonna get. Oh no! 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 No!
Yeah, he's good. I should take my money out.
No, Alex! No! There's no way they're not stopping this. No! Are you kidding me?
The intense excitement surrounding UFC Freedom 250 has finally subsided, leaving fight fans to reflect on an evening that featured one of the most compelling co-main events of the entire year. With the dust now settled, it's time to assess whether the highly anticipated clash between Alex Pereira and Ciryl Gane, the headliners, truly lived up to the towering expectations placed upon them. Prior to the event, numerous esteemed analysts, veteran professional boxers and former champions offered their varied predictions, some proving more accurate than others as the night unfolded. However, not everyone bought into the idea that Pereira would effortlessly dominate the division once again. Among the dissenting voices was Chael Sonnen, who astutely pointed out several strategic advantages Gane possessed that many seem to overlook. Sonnen highlighted Gane's extensive experience in high-stakes main events and championship bouts, suggesting this afforded him a significant edge in terms of composure and seasoned performance, factors that many were prone to underestimate. Furthermore, Gane's formidable background in striking, combined with his imposing physical stature, meant that Pereira's usual intimidation tactics would likely prove ineffective against him, unlike with previous opponents.
Greatly is Ciryl can win. Absolutely, Ciryl can win. Ciryl is a main event fighter. Ciryl has fought for world titles. Ciryl is in the 5-round club. Ciryl is used to this. This is Brer Rabbit being thrown into the briar patch. Ciryl Gane is used to kickboxers. Alex Pereira is going to invoke fear into everybody in the locker room except one guy. That is what Ciryl is used to. Not to mention, he's the bigger man. Now I want to play a game with you, okay? My producer Ryan and I just got done doing this. I want to bring you guys in on this. MMA math is one of the greatest formulas you can have. People love to say, and I don't quite know where this MMA math doesn't work. Styles make fights.
Sonnen vocally expressed his frustration with what he deemed an idiotic and persistent misconception within the combat sports industry since 1993, specifically the notion that certain fighters are simply brute force while others are pure technique. He clearly articulated that he perceived the upcoming contest as far more intricate than a simplistic test of refined skill against raw power. While Sonnen greatly admired Pereira's formidable striking prowess, he raised concerns about whether the considerable increase in size required for Pereira to contend in the heavyweight division might actually introduce disadvantages. During his detailed analysis, Sonnen specifically cited potential issues related to speed and cardiovascular endurance, suggesting that a significant weight gain often ushers in unforeseen complications. He further elaborated by noting the extreme rarity of a championship-caliber athlete successfully transitioning up in weight by such a substantial margin, underscoring the formidable challenge Pereira faced.
Both of these guys can beat the other one. And I know there's some questions here, which is, will the size, which is going to make Alex Pereira, the ever-powerful Alex Pereira, even more powerful, but will that slow him down? Or will that create a fatigue? Those are questions, they're very legitimate. Historically, when guys move up, these are very legitimate questions. We have never seen a guy, ever, this will be a first, and this includes boxing. We have never seen a guy, make sure you keep track of this stat, guys, because you're only going to get this from me. You have never seen a guy in championship matches fight for a championship in this division and then fight for championship in a different division that has gained this much weight.
Indeed, such a significant and successful ascent in weight class by a championship athlete had virtually no precedent. These reservations were not exclusive to Sonnen. Tim Welch had also meticulously analyzed the upcoming bout and reached a similar conclusion, believing that Gane possessed the necessary attributes to genuinely imperil Pereira. Despite Welch being an ardent supporter of Pereira, he found it impossible to disregard the compelling strengths he identified in Gane's repertoire. Welch posited that Gane would likely adopt a cautious approach, capitalizing on his exceptional mobility, disciplined strategy, and refined striking sense. He was convinced that Gane's impressive size, natural athleticism, and seasoned experience in heavyweight fighting would present a formidable challenge for Pereira to overcome. For these very reasons, Welch felt sufficiently confident to predict a decision victory for Gane.
Oh, I'm nervous. I'm such a fan of Poatan Pereira. He's one of my favorite fighters. But I think this is going to be a tough fight for him. I think it might go to decision. Ciryl Gane is an explosive, springy southpaw. He doesn't commit. He doesn't sit there and slug. He's an experience of enough striker. He's going to really try to avoid Pereira's left hook. Pereira's going to still pressure him, chin up. Bon Gaiman counters hard. If I had to pick, I think Ciryl Gane might win it. I think he might win it. Could say decision. Ciryl Gane by decision. I don't want to say that, but I gotta say it. I gotta say what I think. But I love these guys. Especially Pereira. It's like, fuck. How do you bet against him? But again, Southpaw. He does good against Southpaw. He KO'd Jamal Hill. But again, this is just a different level of a guy than Jamal Hill. Size-wise, athletic-wise, experience-wise. Ciryl Gane gets it.
Demetrius Johnson also echoed similar sentiments, placing particular emphasis on the crucial role of movement in the impending fight. Johnson expressed considerable skepticism regarding how Pereira's characteristically aggressive fighting style would fare against a remarkably agile heavyweight like Gane, who possessed an almost uncanny ability to move with the swiftness and fluidity typically associated with a featherweight fighter. In Johnson's professional estimation, the outcome of the fight would largely hinge on Pereira's capacity to penetrate Gane's defense, effectively target his legs, and strategically wear him down in a manner that would force Gane to expend his considerable strength during the combat exchanges. However, Johnson was acutely aware that Gane's superior footwork and exceptional agility would render such a strategy incredibly difficult to execute successfully.
At 265. And this is my vision of, if I was to go up to let's say I was going to fight at 155, right? Because I can't break 150 pounds to save my life. I would try to not blow up to 155. I would just eat normal and actually I'll probably eat more calories and put on some muscle, and that's it. Whether that's me getting to 145 or 148, I'm not gonna push myself, so when I jump on the scale, I hit 155. And I don't think, like John Jones, when he put the weight on, it wasn't a shredded fucking 265. It was more of a, you know, he made heavyweight limit. So it'd be kind of interesting to see how his body has put on that weight. Is it fat? Is it actual functional muscle? We do not know. The thing we do know is that Sean O'Malley saw him and he looked at his ass and he was like, man, I kind of want to take a bite out of his ass. Those are his words. You know, obviously I heard that on his show with him and Guru. But how is Alex Pereira going to move at heavyweight division? We're going to find out now.
Following his initial assessment, Johnson delved into a meticulous, step-by-step breakdown of how Alex Pereira could realistically secure a victory. He adamantly asserted the critical importance for Pereira to effectively utilize his calf kicks, highlighting their proven efficacy in his previous encounters and the inherent difficulty for opponents to evade such potent attacks. Johnson's strategic blueprint for Pereira's potential success was fundamentally predicated on the notion of inflicting damage upon his opponent's legs, recognizing that Gane's remarkable mobility and ability to befuddle adversaries were directly dependent on the integrity of his lower limbs.
You guys might not believe me or agree with me, but I think that's his greatest weapon. You look at all the fights. I just watched his fight against Yuri Prochazka. Boom, he kept kicking the legs, the calf kick, and nobody checks his calf kicks. Nobody does. So he's able to take a shot at the calf and not take a big price. So key to victory number one, he's got to get that calf kick going. Key to victory number two, work your way across the void against Ciryl Gane, because we know Ciryl Gane's going to be going back and forth, moving and making it hard. John Jones made it look easy because he just blasted a double leg and was able to get Ciryl Gane down and finish him with the guillotine choke. That's not Alex Pereira's style. He likes to work his way across the void by throwing leg kicks and then...
Despite meticulously outlining the myriad challenges Pereira was likely to encounter, Johnson ultimately arrived at the decision to back Pereira. His conviction stemmed from the belief that Pereira's methodical patience in cornering Gane against the cage and systematically dismantling his technique would ultimately create openings, irrespective of Gane's impressive athleticism and rapid footwork. While Johnson conceded that Gane's superior mobility and athletic prowess certainly had the potential to make Pereira endure a grueling fight for its entire duration, he found insufficient evidence to suggest that these attributes alone would prove to be the decisive factors. Instead, what tipped the scales in Pereira's favor, in Johnson's view, was his innate ability to impose his will on the fight and force the action on his own terms.
You know, hands up here and always constantly moving. So he's got to work his way across the void very slowly and methodically. So with all that being said, who do I have winning in this fight between Alex Pereira taking on Ciryl Gane? I'm going to have to go with Poatan. Reason why is because I feel he's more engaged to fight. Now, that's not taking anything from Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane's a big dude. He moves great kicks, but this one's hard because I was talking to some other athletes and I think Ciryl Gane can't beat Alex Pereira because Alex Pereira is flat-footed. He doesn't really, move in an athletic way, where Ciryl Gane kind of does. But I just feel Alex Pereira, he's not scared to fight. And I think the person who's not scared to fight typically wins. So for that, I'm going to go with Alex Pereira. Now, the main event. Ilia Topuria.
Conversely, Israel Adesanya framed the impending contest as an intricate, high-level chess match rather than a reckless exchange of blows, underscoring the profound mutual respect both combatants would need to exhibit for each other's distinct strengths. He specifically highlighted Pereira's remarkable trajectory from kickboxing supremacy to attaining double UFC champion status as an extraordinarily rare feat in the annals of combat sports history, stressing that this was no ordinary contender's journey, but an unprecedented ascent through a gauntlet of elite adversaries. Simultaneously, Adesanya was careful not to diminish Gane's formidable credibility, noting that the French fighter had already conclusively proven himself against a roster of top heavyweights and had even demonstrated an impressive ability to seize early control in challenging matchups. From his perspective, the fight exhibited all the hallmarks of a strategically nuanced and protracted battle.
This is what the division needed. Jones is in or out, we don't know. Aspinall's still recovering from the last fight with Gans. So now they needed something fresh. And a guy like Alex, who's coming to the UFC, smoked dudes to fight me and then beat me. And then from there becoming the light heavyweight champion. And then now, never been done before, never been even attempted. This is rare air. This is a level where you have to really just appreciate what this guy's done from kickboxing, from his background, his ties to his roots. Whether you love him or hate him, just you have to really appreciate the magnitude of where this guy's taking it to now. This is crazy. And he's not just doing it against a casual or paper champ. Like, Gane is a fucking gunner as well. He's the guy that, the last fight with Aspinall, he won the first round. He's no slouch, that's what I'm trying to say. So, how I see this fight playing out. This is gonna be a chess match. This is gonna be a stand-up chess match.
Adekane delved even deeper into the tactical landscape, articulating his expectations for how the initial minutes of the fight would unfold. He envisioned Pereira promptly taking the center of the octagon, applying measured, controlled pressure rather than exhibiting any reckless aggression. Gane, conversely, would likely operate from a defensive stance, consistently circling and expertly managing distance using his jab and southpaw stance. Adekane pointed to Gane's potential use of feints, inside leg kicks, and even sporadic wrestling threats as tools to disrupt Pereira's rhythm. At the same time, he acknowledged Pereira's visibly improved takedown defense and his patient, methodical pressure game. For Adekane, all these elements converge to suggest a precisely calibrated technical contest defined by superior positioning and impeccable timing.
Pattern. How I see this going, I think Pereira's going to take the center straight away, and then Gane is going to be on the outside of the black line, moving back and forth, using his jab, southpaw, shifting well, maybe even inside leg kick on Pereira's lead leg, or faking it. If he can keep doing that and keep touching Pereira, I don't know if he's going to mix wrestling, but if he does, that would be smart, just to get them thinking about it. But also on the other side, Pereira, his takedown defense is, like, you see the height of his hips. He's got long legs.
He's been getting better as well.
Evolving. Yeah, I've seen some clips as well. He's just evolving as an athlete constantly. I think Pereira's just going to do what he does, take the center straight away, like the way he did with Ankalaev, but not as 100% full attack. He's just going to composed. Yeah, like he's going to move left, move right, follow Ciryl, and he's going to have his high guard.
The MMA guru offered a perspective that was similar, yet slightly more intricate on the fight's potential development, building upon the concept of a cautious, tactical opening. He predicted Pereira would quickly establish a measured rhythm, consistently targeting Gane's legs and body to limit his mobility, even if the initial exchanges appeared close on the scorecards. Simultaneously, he anticipated Gane utilizing stance switches, variations in his jab, and fluid movement to secure early advantages and potentially steal moments in the opening rounds. However, the guru believed these early benefits would gradually diminish as Pereira's persistent low kicks and body shots began to accumulate, inevitably shifting the momentum over time, even in what might still appear to be a competitive fight. He also leaned towards a more dramatic finish, expecting the contest to remain competitive early on, before Pereira ultimately took command in the later rounds. He pictured Gane starting strong, driven by his movement and striking, potentially even winning the first round as Pereira worked diligently to close the distance and apply pressure along the cage. Yet, as the fight progressed, the guru expected the relentless pressure, punishing body shots, and close quarters exchanges to wear Gane down. In his scenario, a critical turning point would arrive when Gane finally succumbed to the pressure, attempting a takedown after being visibly rocked, only for Pereira to seize the opportunity with ground and pound to secure a third-round TKO victory. So, after all the elaborate predictions, detailed breakdowns, and bold declarations, who ultimately proved to be correct? It's now time to hear your thoughts. Share your opinions in the comments section below and let us know who you believe truly understood this fight correctly and who missed the mark entirely. If you enjoyed this recap, remember to subscribe for more comprehensive breakdowns like this.